Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are diving into a historic, nation-defining tech milestone. It's actually crazy to think about, but a quiet, almost overlooked Indian experiment has literally become the undisputed king of global fintech. If you've ever wondered what the actual future of money looks like and how those crumpled paper bills in your pocket might soon become, museum artifacts, you are in exactly the right place.
To kick things off, I want you to imagine something for just a second. What if I told you that nearly half, yes, half, of all the instant, real-time digital payments happening on planet Earth right now do not take place in the tech hubs of Silicon Valley or Europe or China? What if I told you they are happening right here in India, and all it takes is a single, simple scan of a QR code? Sounds almost made up, doesn't it?
Well, if we rewind 10 years, global financial experts actually laughed at that exact idea. Seriously, they confidently claimed that a massive, super diverse nation of 1.4 billion people could never go completely digital. They pictured the chaos of crowded, vibrant markets and the heavy reliance on millions of cash-only street vendors. To them, the physical infrastructure and just the sheer human habit of handing over paper rupees were way too entrenched. There was no way it was going to change.
Section 1. A decade of UPI, 2016 to 2026.
Spoiler alert, those financial experts couldn't have been more wrong. We recently marked the official 10th anniversary of the Unified Payments Interface, or as we all know it, UPI. It was rolled out to the public by the National Payments Corporation of India on August 25, 2016. And man, since then, it has fundamentally rewritten how an entire civilization transacts. Official government fact sheets show a mind-boggling 13,000-fold explosion in transaction volume. We went from under 2 crore transactions in its very first year to over 24,000 crore transactions. To put that massive value into perspective, the annual transaction value hit nearly 314 lakh crore rupees. That is literally more than the entire gross domestic product of many developed nations, just zooming entirely through the digital airwaves.
Section 2. The pain of pre-2016 payments. Before we get totally lost in these breathtaking numbers, let's ground ourselves and remember how things actually used to be. Back in 2015, just trying to send a few bucks to a friend digitally was an agonizing headache. First, you had to fire up a computer and log into a clunky, super slow internet banking portal. Then came the absolute worst part, carefully typing out a 16-digit bank account number followed by an 11-digit IFSC branch code. If you made a single typo, poof, your money might vanish or bounce back days later. After all that sweat, you added your friend as a beneficiary and just waited. And waited, sometimes for hours just for bank approval. Oh, and my absolute favorite part, if you tried to send that money on a Sunday or a public holiday, the payment was completely frozen until the bank opened on Monday morning.
Your only other option back then was private digital wallets. But they had this massive, fatal flaw. They were completely isolated silos. To use a telecom analogy, imagine if every mobile network in the country refused to talk to the others. Like if you had an Airtel SIM card, you could only ever call other Airtel users. If your friend used Jio, you were blocked unless you went out and bought a second phone. That is exactly how those old closed digital wallets operated. Your money was trapped inside one specific app, and moving it anywhere else meant paying heavy penalty fees.
UPI shattered those closed wallet walls forever through a technical miracle called interoperability. Basically, they built a unified, open-access public digital highway. Think of it as the ultimate universal translator for money. It seamlessly connects every single bank, fintech app, and merchant account into one shared, real-time network. And instead of those terrifying 16-digit numbers and IFSC codes, UPI created a simple virtual payment address. Think of a virtual payment address like an email address but for your bank account. It's usually just your phone number, followed by a handle like @SBI or @HDFC. You hand over that simple handle and boom, the money is instantly linked directly to your bank account.
Section 3. The 10-year explosion. Because of interoperability, suddenly it didn't matter if you used Google Pay with SBI and your local fruit vendor used PhonePe with HDFC Bank. The UPI plumbing connects them in the background flawlessly. You just do one quick camera scan of a standard QR code and the money moves in under 3 seconds, 24/7, with absolutely zero transaction fees for the user. Breaking down that barrier triggered explosive growth. Look at this. UPI started in April 2016 as a tiny pilot project with just 21 member banks, logging barely 90,000 transactions in its first month. Fast forward 10 years, and this giant ecosystem is massively powered by 741 live banks, all sharing the exact same digital infrastructure without crashing.
Which leads us to a truly massive milestone. In the single month of July 2026, the network processed a record-breaking 2,366 crore transactions. That's 29.88 lakh crore rupees transferred in just 31 days. Let's put that scale into perspective. On an average day, Indian citizens execute over 66 crore digital transactions. Honestly, in the exact time it took me to say this sentence, thousands of successful payments just pinged across the country. It is wild.
Section 4. Conquering the micropayment.
So how did this exponential surge actually happen? Well, the secret sauce driving this adoption comes down to one brilliant design choice: conquering the high-frequency, low-value retail payment. In the West, digital credit card networks were built primarily for big stuff, booking international flights or huge shopping sprees. That's because card companies charge merchants high swipe fees that just eat up profit margins. A street vendor literally cannot afford to lose 2% of a tiny sale. But UPI was built from the ground up as a public good with a zero-fee model for small merchants. Because it's completely free for everyday use, 63% of all UPI transaction volume is driven by everyday person-to-merchant payments.
Let's anchor this in everyday reality for a second. An astonishing 86% of these merchant payments are for tiny amounts, well below 500 rupees. We are talking about frictionlessly buying a 10 rupee cup of chai, a 20 rupee plate of golgappas, or a 5 rupee pouch of shampoo. This micropayment dominance has been such a massive cultural shift that politicians actually celebrated the recent anniversary by publicly buying street food via UPI. Skeptics initially doubted that rural citizens and roadside vendors had the tech skills to use smartphones, but the tech adapted to them. Enter the automated soundbox. You know, that little IoT speaker sitting on the vendor's cart that loudly announces, 15 rupees received. That auditory confirmation made vendors deeply trust digital money because they don't even have to look at their phones while cooking. Today, that automated voice is literally the soundtrack of Indian street retail.
But the innovation definitely didn't stop at scanning a code and listening to a speaker. Over the decade, the technical evolution has been breathtaking. We saw UPI AutoPay introduced for recurring monthly bills like Netflix or electricity. We saw UPI Lite for lightning-fast offline wallet payments. Most impressively, they launched UPI 123 Pay to solve the rural internet gap. It lets users with basic, push-button feature phones make transfers using simple voice calls or text menus, meaning you don't even need an internet connection to participate in the digital economy. And now, in its 10th year, they've rolled out on-device biometric authentication. You can approve payments using just your smartphone's fingerprint or facial recognition, completely eliminating the anxiety of forgetting a PIN.
Section 5. Changing lives and economies. Okay, so the numbers are huge and the tech is incredibly cool. But we have to ask the big question. So what? How does this technology actually alter daily life, human dignity, and the economy? First off, it brings the absolute democratization of financial inclusion. Before UPI, hundreds of millions of unbanked citizens, daily wage laborers, small farmers, street hawkers, were completely excluded from the formal financial system. Because they only used physical cash, they had zero official credit history. If they needed money for an emergency, they had to rely on predatory local moneylenders with trap-like interest rates. Today, every single 10 rupee UPI payment creates a verifiable digital footprint. That consistent digital footprint proves they have a stable income, allowing a street vendor to finally unlock formal microloans, working capital, and direct government welfare deposits. It's a total game changer.
Second, think about the immense macroeconomic efficiency for the nation itself. Running a purely physical cash economy is ridiculously expensive and logistically exhausting. The government used to spend thousands of crores every single year just printing paper currency. Imagine the sheer fuel costs of driving heavy armored security trucks across a country as vast as India just to move pieces of paper around. You have to hire guards for bank vaults and pay clerks to manually sort through ripped, dirty banknotes. By digitizing over 84% of all payment volume, UPI has dramatically slashed the logistical cost of managing cash, plugged massive tax leakages, and made the entire economy run vastly smoother.
Section 6. A global phenomenon.
What started as a domestic solution to fix broken banking portals has now exploded into a global phenomenon. This unprecedented success has transformed UPI into a powerful instrument of international diplomacy. The IMF actually notes that UPI accounts for nearly 49% of all real-time digital payment volume worldwide, almost half the planet's instant payments. And the tech is crossing borders fast. Just look at this list: the UAE, France, Singapore, Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Mauritius, Qatar, Greece, and the Maldives.
Think about the magic of that tourist experience. An Indian tourist standing beneath the Eiffel Tower or shopping in a massive Dubai mall no longer has to hunt down a shady currency exchange booth. They just scan a local QR code and pay directly from their domestic rupee bank account, completely bypassing those crazy foreign exchange fees we all deeply hate.
Section 7. The future of money. As we look forward to the next decade, India is proving a massive point to the rest of the world. Public digital infrastructure can drive innovation significantly faster than closed, walled garden corporate monopolies. Because UPI is an open platform, it serves as the ultimate foundational layer for thousands of young developers and startups to build multi-billion-dollar solutions right on top of it. The next generation of fintech is already arriving. We're seeing UPI seamlessly integrating into AI voice assistants, where you literally just tell your phone to pay a bill. We are seeing it built directly into automated IoT smart vending machines that talk instantly with your banking app to drop a soda without you touching a button. It is genuinely setting the global standard for how modern societies should interact with wealth.
To wrap this all up, the 10-year journey of UPI took a quiet digital experiment and fundamentally brought dignity to small vendors, unmatched convenience to hundreds of millions of citizens, and prestigious global recognition to Indian technology. It has permanently redefined how money moves from point A to point B. So, looking back at how much your own daily life has transformed over the past 10 years, I want to leave you with this. Could you ever imagine going back to carrying a thick, heavy wallet full of physical paper cash, or have you finally gone completely cashless? Think about that and keep exploring the incredible world around us.